Okay, so today's video is going to be a demonstration of how to do what I'm going to collectively call the 1 in 2 technique. If you are working any of my patterns, you will see 1 into 4, 1 into 5, 1 into 6, 1 into 7. So collectively the 1 in 2 stitches. This is going to be how to do those stitches because the basic setup for all of them is exactly the same. The only difference is basically when you stop. So today I'm going to demonstrate, what the hell, let's do all of them. So let's get to our central stitch here. So I've got 2 there, and what do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 13, so I'm going to do 6. 1, 3, 6. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, then we have a central stitch. Okay, so we have our central stitch. Okay, this is our marked stitch. This is the 1 in the 1 in 2. So the way that we make the extra stitches, if we are doing a 1 into 4, you're going to take your right hand needle and you are going to come in between these next 2 stitches and out the bottom. So basically, like if you were to pull these apart, I don't know if you can see that, but you're just coming right in and under. Going to grab your yarn, pull it out. So you see how you've got these 2 loops on the needle. All right, take your central stitch, my goodness, transfer to the right hand needle. Okay, gonna open them bad boys up. Take your now left hand needle between these 2 stitches, stick it in between, come here, in between those 2 stitches, wrap the yarn, pull it through. Okay, transfer it again to the left hand needle. Okay, this is still our central stitch, all right? And then we're going to come between these 2 stitches, grab the yarn, and pull it through. So do you see how we now have 4 stitches on our needle? And if we move all of our stitches to the other side, you see how it forms a nice little cluster, and it's kind of separated against the background. That's what we're going for, and it kind of forms knit stitches against a body of pearls, and that is what gives the illusion of a floating closed loop cable. Okay, now if we were to do a 1 into 5, so this is going to be kind of scary, so hold on, loop-de-loops. All right, so back to our central stitch. If we are doing 1 into 5, okay, we're going to take our central stitch and again come in between. See, now that's nice and open, so you got a good view. We're going to come in between, wrap the yarn around our right hand needle, pull the loop through, transfer the central stitch to the right hand needle, come in between these 2 new stitches, wrap the yarn around the left hand needle, pull that through, transfer the central stitch to the left hand needle. Okay, we've now made 2 stitches. All right, so this is still our central stitch. Come in between central stitch and the second made stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it through, transfer the central stitch one last time. Come here, booger. One last time. Come again, and when you're doing this, make sure that you are not catching a yarn loop. Make sure that you are over top of those stitches. Okay, and wrap the yarn around the needle and pull it through. Okay, so do you see how we now have, apart from our central stitch, 4 made stitches, a total of 5. And when we transfer them, all to the right hand needle, we have this nice little cluster. It's very pretty. Okay, I'm going to keep this. Now this would be the exact same technique, okay, if you are doing 1 into 6 or 1 into 7. The only difference is how many stitches you end up with in your cluster, okay? Now if there is an odd number, all right, so if you are doing 1 into 5, your central stitch is going to be a purl stitch on the right hand side of the work. So when you turn it around, these 2 stitches, or in the case of a 1 into 7, these 3 stitches on the outside, my goodness, on the outside are going to be purled on the back, okay? They'll be purled on the back with a knit stitch in the center. So when you come around to the right hand side of the work, the right side of the work, you'll have 2 knit stitches on either side and a purl stitch in the center. If it is an even number of stitches, so if you're doing a 1 into 4 or a 1 into 6, all of these are going to be knit stitches on the right hand side. There is no central purl stitch. So you would just purl straight across on the wrong side row when you go around to work it even on the back. Okay, so I'm actually going to do, no I'm not. Okay, so we are going to continue working. I'm going to pause the video and come back to you. Actually, you know what? No, you're going to follow me. Let's finish this off. So we're going to purl to the end. And I'm just going to do like a simple little circle, like a donut, because donuts are delicious. Alright, garter stitch. And then we are going to get up to 6. Okay, so you see how we have our cluster on the back. Alright, so this is going to be, since this was a 1 into 5, 2 purls. Kinda gotta, come here baby, open up. Alright, 2 purls, 1 knit, 2 purls, and then knit all the way to the end for this sample piece. I'm working with needles that are a little bit bigger than what I'm accustomed to. I usually knit with tiny needles. The big ones are kind of cumbersome. Okay, so let's get up here. Knit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for, depending on the pattern, depends on how many you're going to move, or if you move after the when you make your dupe thingamajig. So it doesn't really look like much now, but you can tell that it's a little different, and it is a little stretched out because I made an example out of it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cable these 2 to the right, because that's where it really starts to shine. So we're going to cable these 2 to the right. And again, this looks a lot better with smaller needles. I probably should have chosen smaller needles. Purl 2, purl our central stitch. I'm going to cable 2 to the left. Purl 2, come here, Goober. And knit 2, and then we're going to purl you, but 2, 3, 4, and knit. Okay, so do you see how that has started our cable? And it is a closed loop. Alright, I'm going to pause this video here. I'm going to work a few more rows, and I'm going to show you how to close the closed loop cable. Okay, so I restarted this video just a little early, so I still have one more right side row to do. So when you are closing cables, you open them You start them on a right side row and then you work a wrong side row. When you close them on the wrong side row. Otherwise, they stretch out and they look funky. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do that. We're going to do the last bit of cabling. Okay, so basically what I did is I opened it. I did cable 2 right, cable 2 left, work a wrong side row, and then cable 3, twist 3 right, twist 3 left, worked a right side row even, and then in 1 on either side, and now I'm doing in 2 on either side, leaving that central stitch. So that's what we're doing now. We're doing in 2, so I'm going to cable 2 come here. My goodness. Cabling 2 left. Purl your central stitch. Cable 2 right. 4 right. Good lord. Because you're moving 2 stitches across 2 other stitches. There's 4 total involved. Okay. Alright. So, this is where we are at on the right side row. Now, if you were to knit along the back, this would elongate, and it would look really funky. So we're going to close this on the wrong side row. Okay, so instead of 2 knits and a central purl, we have 4 purls and a central knit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip those 2 purls onto the right hand needle. So now we have 2 purls, central knit. Alright? And honestly, it does not matter which way you start. You could start this way. I just start this way out of habit. It's habit. So we're going to pick the first purl up and pull it and pass it over the central purl. Okay? Slip that central stitch over to the right hand needle. Pick up our next purl. Pick it up and pass it over the central knit. Slip that central stitch back over because we still got 1 purl on either side to deal with. I'm going to take that purl on the left hand side, pass it over the central knit, slip it right back over the right hand needle 1 more time, take that last purl and pass it over. Okay, now you've got a gap here, so we're going to pass this back in this pattern because we want a flat one. We're going to knit this central stitch, so you want to kind of cinch this a little bit when you knit it, and cinch this one when you knit it. Okay, and knit the rest of the way across. Come here. And it's closed. Now I'm going to work across this so you can see this a little bit better. Because a lot of times when it's up against the needle like that, you can't really see that well. So you get another row down. Row down, hoe down. Har, 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 har. Okay. So, hopefully that is a little bit more clear. Now the other thing I'd like for you to pay attention to is the fact that this fabric, even though it hasn't been washed and blocked, isn't pulling in the middle like cables tend to do. One of the things that I have found is when you are doing closed loop cables, the pull from the cabling and the creation of the stitches balance each other out. So the original, what was it, 13 plus 4 is 17. So the original 17 stitches, that width is the exact same plainly worked as it is cabled with 21. So, it's just something to keep in mind and factor in if you start making your own patterns. With closed loop cables like this, if you're creating your own stitches, if you take out the stitches that you're going to create, just take your background and that's your width for the panel for the stitches. So, all right, I hope that was fun and informative, and feel free to speed up or slow down the video and ignore my terrible jokes. And I hope that you found this helpful and useful. Ciao!